Welcome back, man, to the Clarity Series, episode 9, 9th installment. You know, we talk about purpose and passion and kind of everything that's going on in America. So let's get right into it. It is what it is. We're going to talk about it. You've seen it. I know you've seen it. Jacob Blake, how we feel? Talk about it. Discuss it.
I want to hear what Turk got to say. He was a little heated the other day in the group message. What more on your mind?
I mean, for those of you that don't know, when we ran Dreams and I was in Dreams, when we first started Dreams at Round Heart, you know, that was back in the time where all of this first started with Trayvon Martin and everybody. And y'all know myself.
It didn't start then. It's just when we got introduced to it. It's been going on for years.
True. But y'all know then I really wasn't a big supporter of Black Lives Matter for the simple fact that I felt like we should respect ourselves, build ourselves up before anybody could take us serious. Y'all know I felt like that for a long time. So when you made the comment the other day, you two made a comment the other day about needing to know the situation and know what really happened before you go on a rant and put out the wrong thing. I'm not. It doesn't matter about the situation. It's the fact that we don't get a chance, right or wrong, innocent or guilty. Every reaction is to pull your gun and kill us. No matter what we do. And like I said, a big example of that I can give you as plain as day is the Kyle situation. A 17-year-old kid, who shot 2 people and was allowed to walk up to several police cars. Nothing happened. Taymir Rice was 12 years old.
With a toy gun.
With a toy gun in the park by himself. And was shot dead. Wasn't even allowed to walk up to the car. Nothing. Shot dead. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it seems like you gotta have a plan when you walk out the house. But it's like, well, with a kid like that, like, he a kid. Like, what kind of plan does he need to prevent him from, getting shot? So it's really.
I see you spinning, Cal.
Really crazy.
Drop it on.
Alright, so first you gotta understand that it was in a group message, right?
Yeah.
So a group message, the purpose is so stuff like that, I feel what you're saying, but also to that, I'm never gonna let you go into a situation and speak on something that you're ignorant of.
Right.
For anybody, in any case, which is why I keep it to a message before we get on a platform like this, and we can have that real conversation and stuff. That doesn't negate understanding something. So it'll never be justifiable to shoot someone in the back 7 times, or a young child on a playground who gets shot for having a toy gun, or anybody for that matter, in any case. But you know the situation just when you step into a room with certain people, you deal with certain people on whatever platform you're talking about, you can talk to them in the right manner.
Right.
So that's really more so what I was trying to say. It'll never be disregarding what happened or saying that it was justified or anything of that nature. It's just to have a 360 well-rounded understanding of everything going on.
You said it best the other day. If you are not equipped to have this debate, I have disregarded everything you had to say prior to. You gotta come in with the knowledge, you gotta come in with respect, you gotta come in knowing that regardless of the empathy, you can still empathize with that person that was shot 7 times. We're not disregarding that. But you have to come in knowing everything that happened that led up to that. He doesn't get to play judge, jury, and executioner, like I said, but at the same time, for your own personal knowledge, you need to know the facts so that nobody tries to debunk you and nobody tries to belittle that situation that happened at the end of the day.
Right. That's a good point, Nick, because that's what people do when you have debates. They don't listen to what you're saying. They look at the one thing you might have wrong, and then they cut you off. And that's what they attack the whole time. That's a great debate strategy. I ain't gonna knock that. But in situations such as these, and high conflict, just discussions, high button issues, it's important to at least know have a well-rounded knowledge of the whole situation, what's going on. So when people try to debunk you, you hit it with some more facts and keep it going. But Turk, I want to go back to what you said about the Black Lives Matter movement. Talking about for lack of a better term, pulling ourselves up by their bootstraps. Now we know that term is all bull because ain't nobody ever pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. But in what ways can the black community do that?
Well, it's simple, and it's crazy. So even on our last episode, we talked about how the media is suppressing protests and stuff like that. Every Saturday, I drive through the white neighborhood part of town where I'm from, going to training. Every Saturday, it is a group of white people protesting for Black Lives Matter. I can go in the hood where I'm from, I don't see nobody. I can go across town in another black hood, I don't see nobody. It shouldn't be more white people protesting to help us out and we not doing that, we just chilling. Like we only get, like y'all always heard me say, we only protest for a certain amount of time. Once it die down, that's it. Until something else sparks it, and it happens.
We didn't know about that. But in what way you still answer my question? You right about what you said.
No, I'm saying we should continue to fight. Like Cameron always said, we gotta fight, but we need to continue to fight no matter what.
Okay, go ahead.
What does a protest do?
Well, the protest and the boycott that the professional teams did, it brought great attention to it. It took away some people's money. That's why it was such a big deal. If it didn't do none of that, it wouldn't matter what the Bucks did or the Detroit Lions did or what the WNBA and NBA have been doing. Even though it's all great, that wouldn't matter if it wasn't any money or publicity involved. So
More
that's
so to his directors.
Okay.
To the,
you right.
like when you see the white people out there protesting and stuff like that, and you jerk through the hood and you see me out there protesting. But if the people in the hood are going to spend money out of black business, and you have white people out here on the corner protesting, who's doing more?
But are they willing to spend money on black business?
What? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Because we can, let's be real, we can take what we got going on with how we try to sell our shirts. How many people we know still can go to the mall and buy a shirt before they buy one from us?
But you gotta think, in the community, alright, do you own anything that's fashion or designer brand? Gucci? Nothing like that? Alright. The chain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will add to $1 billion bottom line for brands before you go add to your homeboys $10,000 bottom line. And you can start there with the issue.
Right.
Like, that's a problem in itself.
So you're saying more so where we spend our money, not how we spend our money.
Yeah, where you spend the money, and then when you go spend the money with that person, the gap that you miss out in black economics is the simple fact of you go spend money at a black business, but is that black business owner turning around and spending the money that they get at other black businesses? Like, when it works in a full circle, but when you run it around that track and you got dips in it where you can't run any further because it breaks off and it doesn't allow you to go around anymore, that's a problem. Like,
So you saying, and I know a lot of people see these episodes like, man, Cal always talking about money, but let's be real, it's a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
It's all about money. So in that instance, in what specific ways can we capitalize on this capitalist economy as a community? I know you said keep the black dollar black, and that's a great example, but what are some other ways other than just supporting small black businesses?
don't let someone appropriate your culture, make all the money off the culture, and then spend your money with that. You'll make something popular in the black culture, black community and stuff like that, and you don't make any money off of it. So it starts with the values that you have. Why are you trying to put 10 racks on your wrist and you don't own a home? You have to assess your values and what you value. But at the same time, have to stop looking at people side-eyed when they walk out here in some regular clothes and a gilded t-shirt, like, oh, you broke.
It's completely off topic, but as peacock, why do we peacock like that? Why if we don't look a certain way,
We
or
peacock.
dress a certain thing? Why do we look at people and treat our people like that? Because, like you said, the rich and famous people who really got money, really got money. A lot of times you can't tell it. They don't dress like it. They don't look like it. Unless they 50, they 85, look 55. Their skin look good. They healthy. But as far as fashion wise, They ain't going to put on no clothes for nobody opinion or approval.
Cause I don't look like
You got it. Hey, wait, say money McCoy.
it.
But yeah, why is that, bro? Do you know? Cause I
I
know.
think it's a great question because I think hip hop contributes a lot to that, to be honest.
Oh, without doubt. But I think it's a lot of effectiveness in it.
That's why I say what happens when you do. Anytime I hear that,
You're still
what happens when
faking.
you do.
You're still faking because you haven't made it. All that money that people say that they have, or that they walk around because they got it in stacks.
Not spread.
You know, they spread it out because they throw it, because they throw it and they sit in their car.
No,
You loan that car. You got a loan for that car.
no, some people.
Some people, you're right. Some people don't.
Hey,
But when you talk about like Quavo, for instance, right? And I'm not Quavo. Obviously, I don't know his inside out of his funds, but I know that a lot of rappers loan their jewelry. And they go out and they buy another jewelry. They go out and buy another chain. They go buy another chain. And they're not buying you. They're just making payments to it the same way you're making payments to a house or to a car. Building your credit to an extent, yes. But what's the need for it?
Is that really?
Is it
good credit?
Yeah. Are you helping yourself?
no.
Is that gonna? Because all jewelry does, most jewelry, all it does is depreciate.
Yeah, you're right, but they still build that credit in some extent. Cause just think like, what if they go broke? You feel me? And all the money they had, they was cashing up on shit. They got their credit to fall back on, you feel me?
But
So, I know people in the league that got the bag, that make payments on shit.
Oh no. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make payments. What I'm saying is what you shouldn't do is live outside your means.
But what you deem is broke though?
Roll it.
Forgot that camera.
So, what you deem is broke though? Because you saying go broke, but you know, for me, and me being around y'all, like I heard Nick say he feel like he broke when he got $300 in his account left or $1,000 left in his account. He broke.
well, I ain't never broke.
I'm just
I'm in a
saying.
financial transition.
But what's really broke though? Like my account can say 0. Am I really broke if all my bills paid?
Does your savings say 0 too?
Yes.
Yeah. But am I really broke if all my bills paid?
Hell yeah.
How?
Yes.
How?
Because it's not about, look, bro.
But how?
You gotta
It's
think.
about the unexpected. It's not about what you currently have. It's not about what you currently did. It's about the unexpected.
To that point, in for the men and women that play professional sports and stuff like that make those millions. How are you going broke?
Hey, you gotta think about it too, though, man. These folks, they done came from nothing. You feel me? We get influenced by a lot. Like you put out music, and we get influenced by celebrities and just people who that then went through the industry, that been in the hood, just whatever. And time, they visualizing like when they get that bag or whenever they get that whatever, they gonna turn up. You feel me? Like they gonna take all the pictures. Because at the end of the day too, they're inspiring somebody else. You feel me? Like, hey, we come from the same. He got that bag. I'm from the same. And then we see that, so that's why they not really concerned about even though you can say fake and say maybe because why would you buy that bus down and you not own that house type deal like that. They just living for the now, but they just envision that like hello, that's
So
it.
are they spending their money to portray a certain image? Because I don't care how much money I got. I probably won't ever buy no pair of Balenciaga shoes. They ugly to me. I don't. Right, but I can go and put the same amount of shoe, the same style of shoe. That's look just like a Balenciaga. They'll say them ugly, but they'll say them Balenciaga ain't ugly because they say Balenciaga.
You're right, but it comes down to two things to me, personally, and I could be wrong, but I think it comes down to two things. Just you said, showing people that I came from nothing like you can make it, which is true. But why they gotta be through chains, jewelry, and name clothes? Why they can't be in property and stuff that really matter? That's peacocking number one, because I'm supposed to look like this, because I'm supposed to have that. And number two, financial illiteracy. And we know our people ain't got a lot of that. We don't know how money works. We don't understand money because most times we ain't had no money. But once you get money, it's your responsibility to figure out what to do with it. And if you really want to be a role model, take that money and do something productive or constructive with it to really put your people on. Because when you die, you pass. Unless you got real jewelry, and we know a lot of people wear fake jewelry and don't even know it. What you gonna do with it? Unless you really bought that house, it's your house. The detailed land is what? When you pass. Going back to the white people who owned it. And that's what Calvin be talking about. So again, it's the peacocking and the financial illiteracy is what got us in this situation. And it's a capitalistic society. So we gotta find ways to capitalize on it. If it start with buying black, cool, do that. If it start with just educating yourself on how money really works, cool, do that. If it means you trying to figure out the government policies and who running for offices at third to make your society, your community a better place, or picking the better of two evils because they got the better policy for your people and people who look like you, then do that. But we gotta stop peacocking and we gotta stop being so ignorant and expecting somebody else to come educate us. How you gonna expect the same people to educate us when they've been oppressing us this whole time? They gonna only educate us on the things they want us to know so they can keep us where they want us to be.
And they gotta be,
I'm gonna get you here, but I'm not gonna get you here.
They gotta keep it. They gotta be a full-time thing too, though. It can't be nothing. If you ain't putting no hours and no work into it, you're gonna be comfortable type deal. You gotta be full-time. Add to what you just said. You gotta be full-time.
Anything you're doing gotta be consistent. You gotta see some real change.
Definitely.
And it ain't easy.
Right.
And we talking about stuff we've been fighting since we came over here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. And you said the key word, financial literacy.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. But to go back to that, you got 21 Savage. He built it. He done built financial literacy to really educate black people in general. You got Master P. You feel me? They got these products out, but
we're not pushing those people.
Right.
We need to be pushing those.
Especially Master P. Master P got products on every kind of level in every industry. And we don't never buy
shoes that you
can people that overuse
noodles.
He got his own noodles.
G Herbo, he taking his money instead of buying chains stuff. He trying to put buildings together and systems together to help people who got PTSD, kids in the hood who struggle with emotional stress and anxiety.
Right.
That stuff we need to do with our money if we don't have it.
Exactly.
So
quick question, and I probably we gotta move on. But when it comes to the people who trying to put their money back in the community, do they put it back at a price where they know we can afford it? Because if they try to put it at a high price to get themselves started, then I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose because they know most neighborhoods ain't got that money to buy that stuff.
it's some give and take there. As business owners, you gotta put a price on your product to make it seem valuable, to make it worthy. But at the same time, where that balance is between having your product worthy enough to buy, valuable enough to buy when you ain't giving it away, where people can still afford it. For example, people didn't rock the Starberries that was only $20, $30. You know what I'm saying? But these kids who got Starberries and rocked them in school because that's what their parents could afford. He didn't take off globally like Nike did, but he made a lot of back ends from that shoe, and a lot of kids had shoes on their feet because of him. Same thing with Shaq when he first put his products in there. You know what I'm saying?
He put them in Payless.
He put all these shoes have been in Payless.
He said, because I want people to be able to afford my shoes because I didn't have shoes when I was growing up. Starburst, $15.99. Market, you can get yourself a pair.
Yes.
Right?
Shaq Dunks was $35. Everybody got $15, $20. Everybody got $40 at least once a year for their kid back to school or maybe criminal time. People can afford those shoes, and that's what you gotta find out. What is your goal? You trying to get rich off those shoes, or you trying to solve a problem with your product? You trying to provide a solution, or you trying to get a bag? That's what you're doing. That's what you gotta figure out what to do with your product and your service. If you can't do most times you can't do both, bro. Only people I know can do both right now is Amazon, Apple, PC. They know people want that, so they spike the price up. They know people won't get it because it's the premium product. They don't get it. I was working at Play. It's the highest as highest level floor that you can get. And they put a price on it because it's premium product. But people are willing to pay that because you know you're getting the best of the best. And they willing to get that. But until you build your brand up to that point, you have no choice. There's a lot of people don't get our floors. A lot of people go with other dealers, their floors. There's a lot of people go with different dealers because they can't afford it. They know they're getting not bottom of the line, but not premium product, but they can afford it and get the job done. What's your price point and what's your goal? You trying to, like I said, you're trying to solve a problem, trying to provide a solution, or you're trying to get it back. A lot of times you can't do both, and that's where a lot of people, especially the black community, goes from fundraisers, products, etc., lose it because we think if I'm gonna do this, I need to pay. I need my time, money. I need mine. But is that money you getting really beneficial? Is that money is the money you charging for that product and or service helping or hurting your community? What is that impact? And if that ain't your goal, run it up, dog. But if you're really serious about helping your community, if you're really serious about making a difference with your product and or service or solution, you got to find that balance between how can I maintain my operating costs and keep this going, but also make it valuable enough where people can buy it and not only buy it but afford it.
Since we're talking about money and celebrities anyways, let's talk about kind of like the WNBA and NBA and all of the social injustice.
Shout out to the women.
Yeah, for
You know,
They lead the charge. Shout out to the women.
I agree. And I think that they have a lot more to lose too, by the way.
Good.
They get like maybe
get paid for it.
the highest paid WNBA woman maybe gets paid a third of what the lowest paid NBA player gets paid. That's crazy. The fact that they play basketball year round because they have to, not because they want to.
Yeah.
And they really have the most to lose, and they're out here protesting the hardest to commend.
And I commend them for doing it. Shout out, we'll never take nothing from it. But it's sad for two reasons. It's sad, number one, that the only time their game gets talked about is when they do these do these protests, when they address these social issues. And that's sad because they play pretty good basketball. The basketball, a lot of times, is better than some of the stuff you've seen in the NBA bubble right now.
You get the
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you see some good basketball. And it's also sad that they only get people like Maya Moore, who gave up her career for social justice matter, don't get recognized enough. Only reason they're on TV, only reason that we even know about what the WNBA is doing is because it's costing somebody some money. And they go back to what we was talking about, I'll go with the capitalist system. Only reason the NBA is doing it, in my opinion, is because they understand the composition of their league. They understand the demographics of their league. So they ain't got no choice, because if them Power 5, the Bronze, the ADs, the Kawhis, the Paul Georges, that group of people don't want to play because of what's going on. I don't care what nobody else say. It ain't happening. People ain't tuning in. That's money they lost. If James Harden and LeBron said, I ain't playing because I'm tired of what's going on, think anybody can tap into the Lakers Rockets tonight? Anybody? I'm not.
It's like what the GP.
Exactly. So that's why it's an issue. Same reason they put Black Lives Matter on the court. Not because maybe they think Black Lives Matter for real, but they know they're gonna be on TV and we gotta address it. It's a simple way to do that. Same with the names across the back of the jersey. All of this is about money, and that's sad, but that's the reality situation. That's why nobody give the NFL more credit. Because how you gonna do all this and say all this, but still ain't gave Cap a chance? When you blackball him the last 5-6 years, when everything he was protesting then is still occurring and has gotten worse since he took a knee. And then we talk about taking a knee. He took a knee for all of about a minute and a half during the Star Spangled Banner after he was respectfully asked from somebody who served his country. Let's talk about taking a knee for 8 minutes, 46 seconds.
He asked him to take a knee
You feel me?
instead of sit down.
You feel me? So,
When people are still offended by that, and you were asked by a serviceman, he said, hey, how about you take a knee rather than sit down? And people are still offended by him taking a knee. Why is that? Why are you upset when you didn't even serve yourself? And the people that was talking
I can tell you
are not offended. So, but, I mean,
at the end of the day, bro, until us as a community figure out, again, I'm gonna say it because if we don't figure out nothing else, bro, how to capitalize on this capitalism, we in trouble.
You gotta own stuff. Like, that's not talked about enough. You gotta create if you don't have
And
it.
that's what Master P preached. That's why I study him and watch him so much. He preached ownership. Being on ownership,
You ain't got nothing.
What?
The
You
90,
net-
the 90 acres that the 19 black family, I'm sorry, 40 acres, was it 40 or 90? 90 acres that the 19 black families just purchased
Yeah.
in Atlanta?
It's major. But you were saying what?
Because you got a lot of people in the community that's gonna take $5 million a year to work for somebody, as opposed to taking $1 million to own everything they have. You feel me? So like at the end of the
And what they got more money?
My brother.
Huh?
What they got more money? 5 million working for somebody or $1 million that they
Oh,
own?
you got the million. Because you got the ownership, you got the equity, you got generational wealth, but that's a lot of people get confused. They get in a nice place, a nice little spot. I'm gonna take my 5 million and sit here. And then this is why I have somewhat of an issue, bro, is because like you're complaining to someone that's not supposed to help you.
And somebody who we know don't care.
That you complain to the master. The master not gonna sit here and let the slave run free. That's stock. That's his equity. You're an asset. You don't own any of that. They pay you $5 million a year, $10 million a year. How much money they making on the back end, and you sitting here thinking you got a nice little living, but you're nothing but a bro.
You're a number. You got a SKU number. Your employee ID is your SKU number. That's it. You're a product and a service. But that go back to being illiterate.
Yeah.
We see 5 million. Oh, if I got 5 million, I spend about 2 in my lifetime. I leave the other 3 for the family. When ain't none of y'all know how to have money, ain't none of y'all know how to put that money X, Y, Z. When you can take that million in cash or in money, but you got 2 more million in real estate, 2 more million in other things. And then
or is it just not wanting to go ahead and take that leap of faith?
I think it's both. I think a lot of people are okay with working for somebody else. And if you is, that's cool. And everybody don't want to be owners.
All of them? The league? The whole league?
Well, no, hold on, I won't say that. Because
I think that's different.
what you do with your money,
They in a bubble.
I think it's hard with the league though, Cal.
They in a bubble. No games are being played in person. There's nobody in the stands. And at this point, if someone can educate me if I'm not understanding correctly, but no one is coming to watch the game. It's all being held live, virtually. People are watching as virtual fans and stuff like that. The whole group. You don't need a stadium to play basketball right now. You don't need a stadium and people to come watch you physically to play the sport.
So now with you saying, just to make it make sense, since you brought the sport league into it. For example, they could agree not to come back and play.
they can
And
continue
sacrifice
to play basketball.
and sacrifice that collective bargaining that they really came back to play for, because that's what it was about. It wasn't about the platform. Because they all individually have a platform. It was about the money they was going to lose. And the power they were going to lose in that league if they don't play this year. You said,
go with LeBron if LeBron decides to not play.
because you saying instead of going back in the bubble, and if ain't nobody gonna be there, they could have went to one of these gyms like they do in the summer on a regular lockout.
This our bubble. We own this bubble. After we leave the bubble, guess what? We still gonna make money because we own the bubble.
But on the flip side, just playing devil's advocate, if that's the case, why don't we support the big 3?
That's a great question too.
That's a black league.
It's a black league.
All black owned league.
The majority of black owners.
And majority, if not all, black coaches.
You right.
90% black players. Why don't we support the big 3 then?
That's a great conversation.
I just be playing devil's advocate. But I like what you're saying, because if anybody gonna be there anyway, put a camera at the top of the gym and let's have a Drew League and let everybody rock out. Ain't no champion this year. LeBron and KD team, they won. If you say LeBron All-Star versus KD team, and you look at LeBron team, it's LeBron, AD, D-Wade come out retirement for 2 games, like just anybody, KD pick up, people gonna watch that. Even if it's on a Zoom link, even if it's on a break, even if it's on a Facebook like Versus League, like people gonna watch that, bro. And I think that's one thing they did, switch the topics a little bit. That Versus battle, how it started from an Instagram platform, now it's like a whole show. Crazy. And that's the type of stuff you gotta do.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm with you. Thank you. Anybody else got anything? I thought like that. Look, before we go, man, I think we'll be remiss, especially with the time of this episode being released on early September. Last week or a few weeks ago, we lost a great actor, and really someone who represented our culture well in the film industry, Chadwick Boseman, from his roles in Marshall, The Five Bloods, and 42, and especially what the Black Panther did for us. He did a great job of picking roles that work for us and represented high things and high praise in our community. So, man, rest in peace to him. He's a film legend in a very short time. For him to produce the films that he did, for them to do the numbers that they did, for him to have the performances that he had in those films.
All while battling cancer.
All while battling cancer, man. That shows what kind of warrior spirit that he, not only he has, that we know we can find deep inside ourselves if we dig deep enough, man. So before we got out of here, I think that we would be remiss by paying our respects to him and everybody else who lost this year, man. And just rest in peace to forever the Black Panther. I can't believe it's the Black Mamba and the Black Panther the same year. 2020 really sucked, but
If you're not a part of the DoWork family, I encourage you to become a part of the DoWork family. You know what I'm saying? Vote, and also vote. Arrest the killers that killed Beyonce.
always arrested because remember, man, it works.
Yeah,
You don't eat.
Just
So do it.